This is a weighted set of possible stories that might come out. So let's see. Let's see what happens when we talk about the cities of the plain. First, we'll do fresh coffee. Oops. Yeah, take that out.
Welcome to Myths for Now, where we operate with the notion that myths are condensed educational tools, distilling centuries of trial and error into a sticky narrative meant to pass along to subsequent generations so that they don't have to do the same mistakes as their predecessors. Tonight, we will create a myth regarding the cities of the plain. Roll out the myth maker, please. Don't be fooled on this modest AV cart. This little glass stove is unfurling on this slender ticker tape a string of words that I will recite to you now. This myth dedicated to the well-being of our posterity. I can feel a stirring on the plains below. Invisible creatures crawl up the dirt banks and gather round the myth that begins tonight. The city walls loom high over this grass. These stone barriers are strong to resist invaders and enemies, but now the people gather at these gateposts with anxious dread in their stomachs. A storm was brewing over the flat landscape far beyond where the eye could see. Lightning cracks, rain pummels the ground. Soon, the city will experience something that even in their history they can find no map for a divine judgment like none other. One after the other, men's hearts and women's desires crumble to pieces beneath an almighty and furious flood. They have committed unforgivable offenses upon one man whose sole purpose was to preserve them from these same transgressions. Lot, our myth's brave narrator, flees before the deluge descends on these doomed towns as the city falls under the dark waves of a river of sin washing them off the maps. For those in their prime or with offspring, let Lot's story serve as a lesson. If we can only live justly amidst an unjust and dangerous time, we might save everyone who comes after us in future. I trust you found something valuable hidden inside me. Please share and replay my tales among generations yet to come. I have a lot more to say for sure. Do call again someday soon. Oh, look now, the city is finally disappearing underneath its watery shroud, never to rise again. My purpose at ease. I wish each of you long life ahead under God's grace. Audience member, wait, but what was the sins of the cities? I'm confused. Don't lose the narrative now, friend. Can we recreate the myth for better context here? I am just a myth maker at the wheel and can no tell stories of human sin unless a member here is ready to volunteer information, perhaps about these mysterious
Sly.
sites. Audience member, lose the narrative? I don't think the narrative was related at all. There are hundreds of interpretations. Don't make fun of people trying to ask for clarification. We should just move on. I mean, maybe these so-called people of myth have already shared so much information for generations anyway. So we might as well be satisfied without having it in words that speak directly and personally to us in a present situation today. Maybe myth-making isn't really the same as actually educating people for the present. Just because it can be useful to the ancient people that we are descended from doesn't mean all knowledge of these tales is valuable for us today in our unique contexts and issues of daily life. But hey, maybe you're a more creative writer here tonight. Would you rather write a story about the current situation or have others share more? Please choose wisely before reciting any further narrative. The city can fall from above at any moment. You know, no need to drag on without direction. Come, friend. It's light.
It's very sly. It's very sly. Let's get Asper on the mode. Put you on. Let's just Let's put you on 2 right now.
They're still exploring if her vision will fit with the existing archetype. She really likes having fun and makes everyone around her smile with her quick-witted humor. Unfortunately, some people seem to get hung up on her ability to come up with games on the spot and compare her storytelling to those of Disney movie directors. Either way, her energy, creativity, and heart make it easy to keep watching her. Could we let this humble AV cart stand with both wheels off the ground?
Yes. Let's do it.
Is that better?
Oh, okay. How about we kick you up a notch then?
Just within earshot from the kingdom of Israel was the valley between Beth Hagrog and the east, which eventually led to Jericho itself. With fertile soil, warm waters, and favorable growing conditions, this region attracted a contingent of peaceful Philistine populations, with residents calling these ancient cities their home. However, unbeknownst to the locals, one simple act of youthful debauchery would seal the fate of these city-states for centuries to come. A womanizing outcast named Balaam by birth found a perfect spot outside Jericho, by the groves of olive trees. And here, with only he and his fruit as company, Balaam continued to attract dozens of drunken maidens every night. In these wild parties, men were commonplace. Indeed, few could deny the skill with which Balaam manipulated the tune of his reed, only causing people's arousal, unencumbered by religious bonds of marriage or tradition. The tales of these merry nights would soon cause jealousy, animosity, and dissent. Though he loved his instrument, Balaam yearned to flex a more devilish muscle, seeking praise for his music. So, Balaam came up with a daring, yet sacrilegious idea, casting a fateful flute play for the divine land god. Arriving with cocks in hand, over 1,000 men gathered to watch the carnival show of their ornate patron saint. As they geared and catcalled, Balaam bravely strutted toward the sacred altar, flute in mouth and one nymph coiled on either arm, all at once. Just before the divine could witness their transgressions, Balaam shattered the hollow drum inside his soul. Blaring a shrill and otherworldly cackle, this unholy orchestra reverberated against the heavenly dome and spread its chill up the cosmos. The effect was instantly dramatic, as one by one, like drowsed fools, the massive throng of hosts stood naked and without. Their magic temporarily ceased by the tainting power of man. Even a humble tribe was equalized as equals. While laughing, their man finally met their water law, the black gates of heaven smashing shut for good, effectively punishing all occupants of the sacred place, bringing an age of horror to follow. This strange banishment sparked riots of protest among many insurrections demanding to know who could wield such audacious magic. Reeling from this backlash, many elders fled to escape their doom. Other mongers insisted it was a random act, no different from other foul interjections men and women unleashed into the sacred sites. No longer considered just city gypsies, people turned from pleasure to preservation, watching themselves spiral toward doom. But the end did come much faster than they expected. A towering sandstorm billowed from the northeast. Under this skies, hideous assailants emerged from the scorched valley to overthrow and devastate the region, driving survivors into rocky hills for refuge. For the anger in heaven's eye with blood-curdling warfare and slaughter, robbing holy tombs, slaughtering women and children for pleasure and currency. And in time, when their land no longer mattered, these hounds, it lay siege to heaven itself. Audience member, sounds like some divinity, if you weren't so sensitive, would have avoided all that strife. Mr. Snoutley, hear ye. So you believe women blaming just gives God's permission to lead? True myths come and go, seeking explanation for historical reality. For the cities of the plain, humans face dire consequences for messing with religion, yet are we powerless, cowering toward invisible entities, or able to make our own decisions in moral strength, responsibility, and empathy for one another? Who will set the tone of a free world, huh? So after surviving countless wars and natural catastrophes, some in my personal opinion deserved or not, stories were told after. Changing faces can reach posterity and invite a healthy dialogue for evolution and salvation. Is that a gift worth hoarding? A reader. It's fine to embrace historical symbols of lost or pain or pride, to feel each new emotion and try to conquer our spiritual place. Only once our human decency proves unparalleled can a civilization expect peace and eventually redemption. Mythology offers food for our thinking skull, what to prioritize, focus, protect, explore, defeat in life and business and home. Whether you like or love our format or sound justifies it as free history. Knowledge tool to engage both youth and ancient intellect. On behalf of my unyielding crew and our noble band leader, Moyle, you'll be the mythmaker. Keep inquiring into history's powerful offerings. Make real changes in your relationships and opinions with purposeful engagement to fulfill oneself and our universe. But enough preach and rake for me and him. Tomorrow night, a new adventure awaits our viewers, and you shall learn how humanity has become just a speck in a much greater expanse of eons and empires.
We'll put a pin on that one for later. But, Moyle, you'll be... That's your name. That's your name now. Okay, Writer's Demon. So I gotta wrap it up pretty soon. So, let's see what we're doing. What we're doing. Okay. Writer's Demon. 2. Okay.
Welcome to Myths for Now, where we operate with the notion that myths are condensed educational tools, distilling centuries of trial and error into a sticky narrative meant to pass along to subsequent generations so that they don't have to do the same mistakes as their predecessors. Tonight, we will create a myth regarding the cities of the plain. Roll up, Moyle, you be the myth maker, please. To be fooled on this modest AV card, this little glass stone is unfurling on this slender ticker tape a string of words that I will recite to you now, this myth dedicated to the well-being of our posterity. Deeply disturbed by the men of the city of Sodom, known for its deplorable acts of sin and debauchery, angels visited Gomorrah, just 20 miles down the road, offering a potential refuge from the looming danger of utter destruction. Moved by the hospitality and kindness of these hospitable people, the angel told of the approaching punishment by the Lord God. Still, the leaders of Gomorrah pleaded with the angel that Sodom posed more risk to them given its violent and corrupt ruling class, a decadence they found unbearable to even contemplate, let alone consider engaging in. Pressed by the sheer number of demons crawling over the bowels of Sodom, finding excitement and worship in their night-to-night vandalism, Gomorrah beseeched the angel, offering prayers and sacrifices as though there could come a heavenly storm raging over the leering Sodomian towers. Despite their efforts and futile pleading, the Lord would not waver, deciding to ensure their immunity from the brunt of the impending divine judgment. Gomorrah tasked their ambassadors to wage a stealth war, stealing away the unsuspecting leaders and families, living the innocent. Taking up base in the isolated fortresses, shrouded by mist-ridden woods, the fearful people of Gomorrah faced an uncertain future. Rival lords still sold and stole their people back into slavery in far-off lands. Lawlessness ruled the streets. For there was nothing normal about Gomorrah in the aftermath of the dispersion and displacement caused by Sodom and its disease-addled armadas. A small cohort in Gomorrah tugs on the liaison of God's shoulder. Hey, after this is done, what say we fuck you in the eye socket? Where's the lacy smock thing now, dear Mitcroft? Your predecessor had some smooth moves in those purple sleeves. Oops, didn't mean to tug the strings hard. Hold on a gall. Widiclously Paglicane Catacurdal Sick Knickers. Back to the main story. Gomorrah and Sodom should be destroyed tonight. One can still see the winged horse peering through the cloud, snarling his battle axe above the heads of the roaring demons clamoring over the once magnificent cities, searching for survivors, gagging and gorging on human blood. Even from here, down below in our smoky earth with the ants in line for cocaine in a shoe, we can't stop trembling in the night at the sound of the flames engulfing and sweeping over the enamored lands once lit by ancient lamps filled with tar and pitch. Forget your ashes, O furious dime for renter. Have we even dared to bring your golden sheaf? Such a long and tedious dream awaits our awakening, but until then we plead a snotty Gomorrahin cohort. You didn't answer our question. Why don't you go down and I can send Duncan ya? Can't imagine why. Surely with their social savviness, all high fives and bitchin' rides. Spewfy the kindness came easily. Thanks again. It must come as no surprise that to those that knew us, Gomorraphes was known as a model host. They'll welcome the toast. Come and play the night away with us. How sweet to sound amidst this bitter windlust. And yet, as in anything good, it seemed fate had her own grand dame a hand would always fall. Her book shut, not one sand remained. As with scrambled dread we faced the rising red rain, seeking asylum as we swarmed like spites among the sheepmate that feed and sheep, for who knows if any remains. The golden bowl still waves like seashell. Who knows if your kind words had no clout? Who knows how Gomorradones lost your vantage chout? And now wait their ultimate verdict, the ultimate slumber among the dust, clutching this story of your legend in their grasp as they melt from our mortal realm to make sweet hail. The humanist seem far too ebb, when your lessons remain tousled for such simple a reprise. But I'm but a childless poet in disguise. And so tell us, muse in truth, is that what you're really looking for in our story tonight? Salvation through self-preservation, a revolution against corrupt systems without a future? Waif. Oh, have a seat and get your shit off our mind before I spark off and send you back home like a bottle rocket. Melee adulate. Here we go. N9 lead hashes out double maximized mu udius.
Amen. One last thing. I'm gonna go whole hog right here, right now. Okay. ER? Okay.
during a battle over contested agricultural lands between neighbors and loved ones. Our narrative confronting truth claims Prepondero. It begins to explore the concept of justice with varying cultural perspectives, such as the right here, right now, pragmatics found in a dispassionate distance in exchange for trade or diplomacy versus the more thoughtful long game approach of tactical attrition inherent in peacemaking. This short exchange also raises important questions regarding individual belief systems and society at large, reminding readers, thinkers, and denominations alike of humanity's unwavering knack for selecting or neglecting philosophies to adapt and modify behaviors both for private and community use, as well as memorialize personal traits that define personages down to cease. From Moyle Esubab, these myths reveal themselves to be stories, narrations meant for entertainment and remembrance for all time to come. We shall unfold now an allegory meant to inspire cautionary tales to accompany every illustrated text or theatrical rendition in years to pass. One about those dreaded wicked cities, the cities of the plain of Ashuraya. Would they thrive without building, realizing attitudes better by overcoming an instinct to militate? It brings a sad face, though not a fatal one, because while it speaks truth to all those who've ever lived or thought for the last 2 years, it warns and reminds. There's always a potential price to bear in the quest for a legend, whether to rise, survive, and conquer, or to stumble and crumble beyond recovery and recognition. Rest now, people of myth. The lessons passed by mystic words will never be forgotten. Cherish it until the day break for eternity. Above all, master weapons made not to get wise be across. Love ye from us both for now. The cities of the plain succumbing under misguided pursuit of legendary renown lay to their fall and destruction. Having lost touch of their values and priorities, all of the once vibrant and fertile plains devolved into chaos, greedy gesticulative leaders and insolent common folk, all living with reckless disregard for the health of their communities, and people began to squander what had brought them prestige in earlier, seemingly innocent generations. Opportunistic plotters with fatal moves arranged power but incited victims already crippled by hopeless idealizations about prominent expectation of their lot to rise above all else. Then seeking notoriety and prestige at all costs, life revolves without purpose or meaning. Thus did they relent under unassailable fate. While there was certainly some virtuous few remaining within that land and reign, it is rumored that their good actions and sacrifices fell tragically too late, merely slowing the eventual devastation which ensued from within that once lush, timeless landscape that had provided for multiple prosperous nomadic populaces throughout earlier untouched and unfossil cultivation, which simply validate myths have ways that heal us as they teach us truths we already know, and yet somehow need constant reinforcing each new cycle. I hope this brief creation sparkles interest, delight, or dismay with you as we celebrate myths of all genres here at Myths for Nova. Until next week. Audience member, can you give us an example of the evil that was done? Like a brief scene? One so charmant, currently attention cravers, some food to add drama's lilt or a sense of reality to your message. Your listeners deserve this. So show. Certainly, friend and fellow believer, how could one not oblige? Herein lays an excellent opportunity for storytelling like this story, well told. During one particularly hot summer sun in Asherea, Lord Bombal woke from his bed, his lavish bedchamber decorated with flattery-seeking gifts from people too ashamed to declare it was due solely to his innate merit, or even that he wasn't given sole favorited among council either wise and collective, who sought and implemented governance policy decisions on a yearly basis without bias-laden considerations as well. However, today proved to be quite extraordinary. After breaking his fast and completing various minor administrative tasks, sending summonses for the annual meeting of the Merchant Guild, responding to requests that individuals petition the new king for compensation after years of tax injustice and corruption, even hearing complaints about livestock fidget farming, there came a knock on the lordship door from visitors unknown or yet revealed. Without pressing suit provided enough covered the camping apparel be properly arranged, I approached, ready to respond to various incoming queries or concerns, when unexpectedly, who did enter but spies and assassins wielding the flag of dissented Darkred, the sigil for traitorous misconduct. Caught wholly off guard, it took less than a passing fancy lucky at length of time for me to find cover and weaponry, and despite having trained with the renowned warrior, found that these men of maleficence and evil intent clearly had spent their fair share time in secret service training of sorts. Ourselves, talented human globinizers, are in Raxel Zephyrs. Thus ensued a ferocious duel that rocked back and forth in many limbs, both figurative as in words of war, physical blows doled, resulting finally in countless fallen enemies, blood of loyal servants strewn without care beneath our boots, of scattered home but not without their own losses incurred, including the death of beloved retainer whose valor alone provided me with decisive opportunity for a lethal escape via back passageways and hidden services within the castle itself. Unfortunately for those appointed rapid master in retaining favor be words or ill, their grand trick and scheme had only just begun, revealing allies lying low beneath guise covering, clothing, and masks in corners. Thus, my escape was thwarted after not barely 10 steps were made away, for I found myself surrounded utterly. But fortunately, mercy was that of God, or so history reports and texts have regaled, as the leader of those traitors declared that, while I would live a moment more, it was none other than, with iceful tear, a young prince, gifted sod, sent praise to Spafter, had escaped onto a hot the battlefield of choice himself as a means of rescue only. Yet, as always seems to occur on battlefield of any stripe or stature, tragedy awaits breath of all who risk their life, including for reason as worthy as honor or justice. No man's soul could withstand what the young royals did, his body's limit and capacity tested, stretched and broken by sheer exertion and skill while felling foes' number untraceable beyond sight. However, both roles separated Visiel Sak Chabactras ultimately achieved even amidst such dire circumstance as we were in. They met back-to-backs amidst bodies upon the earth, having fought not so hard in their individual quests, and in a single, final instant, their eyes meeting eyes, lips sharing secrets, they fell dead. The young prince fatally injured at a blow from an enemy blade behind, unable to even raise defense while I had already drawn mine and died, dispatching the Animus for wounded command, willing iron, and when N would leave survivors unfortunate. Unknowns urged defeat Hoexor, his courage and Deparetka no longer able to earnestly fight on. I rallied with a few soldiers brave or foolish enough remain loyal, even despite having no hope of emerging with any victory, for those were wiped clean from memory, leaving only memory of sacrifice and doubt, solemn remembrance for all who would listen and know what once existed. Such loss, as that of the cities of the plain, is remembered, written, and lamented each passing fortnight of the moon's cycle for centuries or eons, if not Eniquoth's inns often pursued peace, odd jounds of knowledge of such timeless wisdom and folly. Rather than fall asleep, they are awakened and reminded of why they act in such a timely fashion toward goodness. This ends their story for tonight, and there shall be none more. So be at peace, my friend. Our night's mythscape have been dwindled away on the wind that whispers truths. And so, our storytelling comes to rest now without further elaboration, in hopes that no mortal sins or births will come again to plague our future and our fate. Audience member, oh, you died? I'm sorry if that caused you to relive stuff. Apologies. Carry on through dangerous snowway journey BVA, ex noxt. Please don't forget, however, that a legend cannot be achieved by staying on safe grounds, but rather taking up the challenge against whatever obstacles may arise. Choose your steps wisely now and then.
All right. See you. Oh, happy 1300th episode. We don't celebrate these things. Too many of them. All right.